All right. It's 10:03. I think we're going to get started here. Hey, dads. Welcome to 3 Rules for Dads in Family Court. Today, we're going to be talking about what you need to know if you're going in for a child custody battle. We're going to head on over to our PowerPoint here so you can see that. And what we've got is the number one thing dads need to know is that they're playing the right game. The hardest thing I have to explain to dads is that they're playing a game of chess, but they think they're playing checkers. They think they can go into court and be like, I'm a great dad, and get their 50% custody. And that's not the way this game is played. This is a game that requires you to know what you're playing, know the rules, know the way in which the parties are playing with each other. Because make no mistake about it, if you're going into family court, the other side is your opponent. This is a game. It's either chess or football. Take your pick. I don't care what your analogy is, but you've got to understand that there are a lot of rules to this game. And both of those games require one thing, a strategy. You have to have a strategy to reach your goals. There's no way you can win in family court if you don't have a strategy. And trust me, your opponent has been having a strategy for at least 2 years. They've probably got into the relationship with an idea of what they wanted to get out of it. If you're going into family court and you're having a relationship issue with the mother of your children, odds are she knows from the day she met you what she wanted to get out of you. You have gone in with this expectation of, we're going to have a great relationship, we're going to have kids, we're going to co-parent, I don't really see what the problem is, I'll bring home the bacon, she'll take care of the kids, life will be wonderful, it's all going to be this little Leave It to Beaver world. I hate to break it to you. That is not what's been going on. What's been going on is you've been being set up. She may love you, but the fact of the matter is, when it comes down to choosing you or your kids, the kids are going to come first. And with the kids come her interests. And she's got a strategy. Now, I've been practicing family law for 24 years now. I've represented mostly men over that time. And frequently we've had women come in who want to start planning their divorce. They're gathering their information. And I've tracked it. And usually it's about 2 to 3 years worth of planning and strategy that they've engaged in before they actually file for divorce or a paternity action. They've probably done their homework. They've probably talked to 2 or 3 lawyers. They've probably talked to all of their girlfriends, all of whom have been through similar things, all of whom have talked to 2 or 3 lawyers. So what they're getting is this compounding effect of all this information in the world of family court. They know how this game is played. They have a strategy. They're going into it with a way to get the most amount of child custody, because that means the most amount of child support. I know, not fair, but it's the way it is. You, my friend, have probably not even thought about this once. My guess is you've probably never once thought about having to share custody of your kids with the mother of your children. You've probably never once had a conversation with your friends of, how does that actually work? Like, what do I have to do to get custody of my kids? You probably think like, well, I signed the birth certificate, I signed the voluntary declaration of paternity, I have rights. Hate to tell you, the rights you have are pretty much to pay child support. That's what that birth certificate means. You can be made to pay child support. That's it. No other rights. You've got to go into court and get a judgment that says you are the father of your children and these are your parental rights. This is your parenting plan. This is when you're going to see your children. You have to have a strategy to get there, though. You have to know going in, what do I have to tell the judge? What's the judge going to want to know from me? How do I have to position myself? Do I need to change my job? Do I need to change my work schedule? Do I need to change where I live? Do I need to change how far away I live from the baby? These are all issues of strategy. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're walking into court and you're saying, I'm a great dad, you are most likely the greatest dad on the planet to your child. However, that judge has heard that from every other father that they've ever seen. Think about it for a second. Who's going to walk into court and go, hey, Your Honor, I'm a pretty crappy dad and I don't really make all that much money and I don't know how to parent and I don't know how to deal with meltdowns, but give me 50% custody. No one is ever going to say that. everybody's going to walk into court and go, I'm a great dad. I want my 50% custody. So a judge has heard this so many times, it has no meaning for them. You have to be able to go in and explain to the judge why you're a great dad, how you're a great dad. Part of that is developing your strategy, and part of that is being prepared at game time. Because when it comes to game time, when you're in front of that judge, you have to know more than just, I'm a great dad. You have to be able to say, here's the kid's schedule. Here's the kid's doctor. Here's the kid's dentist. Here's the kid's school. Here's the kid's best friend. Here's my work schedule. Here's mom's work schedule. Here's how close we live to each other. Here's how I want to make this thing work for the best interest of the child. These are the things that you need to be showing to the judge that you've thought about beforehand. You want to be able to walk into that courtroom and say, Your Honor, here's my certificate for this class. Here's my certificate for that class. Here's why I'm a great dad. Boom, 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 boom. Because if you don't have that and you're just walking in going, I'm a great dad, you're not prepared. And it's going to show. And the judge is going to look at you and be like, sir, I understand you love your children. Why haven't you done your homework? Why are you coming in here saying like, well, I've got the evidence, but it's on my phone and it's at the house? No, sorry, dude. Game time is today. This is the hearing. You need to have all your ducks in a row. You need to have all your evidence, all your emails, the text messages. Everything needs to be set up, organized, ready to go. You wouldn't walk onto the playing field of a football game and just walk out there and be like, hey, I think I'm going to go play football. And with like 10 other guys, we're going to like figure out how to win. No, that's rugby, not football. Totally different game. Football, you're walking in, you have a strategy. You've talked with the other players. You know, he's going to sweep right. He's going to sweep left. We're going down the middle. It's going to be a pass. No, it's going to be a run. You've understood with the team members what the game is, what the game plan is, and you're ready to execute that plan. That's what I'm talking about, guys. These are the three things you need to know. You have to know the game you're playing. You have to have a strategy to win that game, and you have to have executed everything. So when you walk in that courtroom, you're ready to play. So how do you do all this? Well, the number one thing is you have to know how to get all of this pulled together. And I teach you that in Dad's Child Custody Action Plan. And you're saying, great, Dave, you're going to sell me a product that's going to not really help me because it's too much work and I don't know what I'm doing. And that's why I hire lawyers, because I get overwhelmed. It's okay, dude. Breathe. Take a step back. I understand. I got you. Because with the Dad's Child Custody Action Plan, the first thing you're going to do is understand the rules of the game. We're going to show you, what are you really facing going into family court? The next thing we're going to show you is how to develop a strategy for you, because you're going to develop your strategy that's going to work for you and your family. We're going to work together on that because that's what I teach, is strategy, how to get your ducks in a row. And thirdly, it's going to be how to get prepared, how to have all those emails lined up, tabbed, ready to go, talking to the judge, how to have those text messages, get them ready, get them tabbed, get them ordered, so that you can actually argue to the judge when she said things against you, here's the proof against her. That's what you're going to need, guys. So all of this is Dad's Law School. How's that going to work? Well, you got the Dad's Law School Child Custody Action Plan. That's the first step, is we teach you how to develop a strategy, how to implement a strategy. Part of that, though, is what are you actually giving to the judge? Well, we have sample documents, because one of the things that you have to do is show to the judge your side of the case. You have to have all your evidence lined up. You have to have that letter to the judge, that statement that addresses all of Mom's claims. When she said, well, he doesn't know the doctors. Well, you're putting that in a response to the court. You're doing that in that letter to the judge. No, here's the doctors. I know the doctors, and I know the dentist, and I know the teachers, and I know the best friends, and I know the after-school activities, and I know the food allergies, and here's how I parent, and here's how I deal with meltdowns. All of that is in our sample document. Sometimes you don't have everything you need. Sometimes you need to get information from somebody. Maybe you need to get school records. Maybe you need to get medical records. Part of that is called discovery. And in discovery, it's when we're sending a request to either the school or the doctors or the dentist, give me copies of those records. Well, most people don't know how to do that. But in Dad's Law School, we're teaching you with our discovery course how to actually send out those subpoenas, how to send those requests for production of documents from the other side, how to draft that request for admissions to make the other side admit certain things so that you can speed through your hearing. because once they've admitted it in writing, it's a lot harder when they go into court and want to like deny it, because now the judge is going to look at it and say, well, okay, so you're either lying here or you're lying there, but either way, you're a liar, so get out of my courtroom. Once we've actually got all of our documents, what we're going to teach you is how to actually use those documents. That's our evidence course. And the evidence course teaches you how to introduce an exhibit. Here's exhibit A, text message from mom to dad showing what she said, how to lay a foundation for that, then how to get that admitted into court so that the judge can actually rely upon it. Because as we all know, unless evidence is admitted unless exhibits are admitted into evidence, the court won't rely on them. Lastly, once you've got your evidence in, the issue is now we've got our court orders and the other side's not following the court orders. How do we deal with that? Well, that's called contempt. We all know it's a blunt tool, probably not going to get used all that much, but at least I teach you how to do it, so if you want to, you can. The other thing you get with this is twice a month meetups with me. Because you're going through these courses, you're going to have questions, but you don't want to have nobody to reach to. That's why we've got twice a month meetups. Twice a month on Saturdays, we're going to get together. We're going to talk about what's in these courses, how it can help you, what you need to do in your case to handle the situations. The other thing is, in between those meetups, if you want to shoot me an email, we've got email support. Send me an email, I'll get back to you within 24 hours so that you can get an answer to your question. Because if you're doing discovery and you're like, how do I phrase this? How do I look for that? I can help you out with that. Lastly, we've got our private community off Facebook. And why is that important? Because it's off Facebook so that she can't get in to see what you're saying. So if you have a community of men you can talk to and get support from to understand what you're going through, and so that you are in a safe environment so you can actually vent your feelings, ask your questions, and not worry that it's going to be used against you. Great, Dave. What's all this going to cost me? It's going to be super expensive, right? You're probably charging me like $9.97 a month. Nope, not even. I'm charging $97 a month. And it's only one time a month. You can cancel it at any time. There's no long-term contracts. If you want to come in, pay the $97, get all the information, get all the sample documents, cancel it, fair deal. And if you still don't like what I've done, I'll give you your money back. It's a money back guarantee for the first 30 days. And if you know you're in for a long fight, if you know you're going to be dealing with this woman for a long time, and you want to have access to this stuff, to really take your time, to really dig in, to really understand how discovery works, how evidence works, really get the support you need, we've got an annual plan for only $970. You can save $194, which works out to only $81 a month. So where do you go to get all this? It's real simple. You go to dadslawschool.com. So anyways, those are the three roles. You've got to know the game you're playing. You've got to have a strategy. You've got to have your documents ready and be prepared when